How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And before we get started, I want to let you guys know about the private group. Whether you want to be a better investor or a better trader, then this group is for you. When you're ready to take action, you can find the link down inside the description. We'll be happy to have you a part of the family. So today we're going to be talking about Wish stock. Many are asking me about an update, so you know what? Here's the video. But before we get started, of course, we got to go over the agenda. So the first thing we're going to be going over are some key stats that you need to know, especially if you plan on holding Wish stock. So you want to be an investor. Then secondly, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. This will be helpful for anyone that might have some short-term goals or whether you might have some long-term goals. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, have institutions been loading up on Friday? Well, we're about to be figuring that out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So let's get into it. Let's go over some key stats about Wish that investors need to know. Wish generated $2.5 billion revenue in 2020, a 31% increase year on year. So this is definitely impressive here, but also we need to understand this is during the time where, you know what, it was the pandemic. So many more people were at home and they were buying things online. But the good part about it is they were able to capitalize on this. Let's go to the second point. Wish has over 100 million monthly active users and approximately 500 million registered users in over 100 countries. So seeing this overall in general tells us, you know what, they have a lot of traffic. They also have a lot of customers on the platform and they have the opportunity to really bring in a lot of revenues, and that's what we witnessed in the first point. So this is great, especially when we're thinking about growth potential. Now let's move on to the next one. Over 500,000 merchants sell on the Wish platform. Approximately 1.8 million items are sold per day through the Wish app. 1.8 million items sold per day. All I have to say is wow. So what we want to look forward to is seeing them actually improve these numbers, especially when we see updated earning reports. By them improving these particular kinds of numbers, this will benefit the business overall in general and as well as the overall stock price. Now let's go over one of the drawbacks here. Wish is still unprofitable due to its dependence on aggressive discounts, flash sales, and cross-border shipping. Its net loss narrowed from $208 million in 2018 to $129 million in 2019, but widened again to $745 million in 2020. Yes, this is a big time drawback, a big time difference as well. But here's one thing we need to understand. We saw not too long ago they were able to improve in this particular area. Will they be able to do it again? This is why it's very important that we need to look out and see how those earning reports turn out. If you're going to be investing long term, then you're pretty much saying, well, you know what? Yes, I do believe that Wish can make improvements in this particular area as far as bringing those costs down and bringing in even more revenue. And at the end of the day, if you're inside of this play, this is why I emphasize you want to have high conviction. Of course, if you're into the short term, you're only concerned in regards to its overall price action. But by going over everything that we just talked about tells you the reason why a lot of analysts are very bullish on Wish, and it has that price target being around $16.80 on tip ranks. So taking this all together, I just want to make sure you guys are aware, you're inside of the know. I know many of you have held. I know many of you ended up buying at the top when it was, you know, going through that squeeze and stuff. But this is just something to kind of keep you in the know and to keep you updated. So now let's go into the technicals. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Wish. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $11.14, being up 1.27%. On the low, it tested $10.77, and then on the high, testing $11.22. Another metric we're going to be taking a look at, it's the first time doing this on this channel in this portion of the video, is the volume. So when we take a look at the volume on Friday, it was at 36.1 2. But for the average volume for the past 10 trading days, it's at 92.26 million. So that is a significant difference there. Usually when we start seeing a lot of momentum in stocks, what we look for, we want to see the volume being higher than the average volume, all right? So now, if we take a look at the chart, there's no surprise here. We've had a decrease in volume. We see downward pressure in the stock price, right? So when we saw a lot of smaller cap growth stocks pulling back, Wish got down to around $10.26. We also could see, hey, this seems to be an area of support. How long it holds up is definitely going to be interesting. We could see here before the squeeze and everything happened, Wish was all the way down here being at around $8, right? So it did this pop, and now we want to see, is it going to be able to sit around $11? This is going to be the ultimate test here. If it doesn't end up getting past this $11 area with a lot of momentum, and to be even more detailed about that, it's talking about this $11.22 level. If it continues to be rejected, then the stock is going to pull back. That's one thing I want you guys to understand here. And this is great, especially if you're looking into getting into short term or you're going off of swings. If you're looking at it for the long-term prospects, I feel in this $10 area, you can't go wrong in regards to an entry position. But do keep some cash on the side just in case it decides to pull back even further. Because like I was saying, due to this run-up, it's part of the reasons why we're seeing it at the price of where it's at. But also, since analyst price targets are well above the price of what we currently see, this is why I say there could be an opportunity here. But what we want to see from Wish is being able to get past this 1122 area and then make that move to 1150. I feel if it can get to 1150, it could easily get to $12. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Wish on Friday. So we could see here on the inflow we had 90, and on the outflow we had 89. We had 4 on the large, 48 on the medium, and we had 38 on the small, and of course this is in millions. On the outflow we had 6 on the large, on the medium we had 51, and then on the small we had 32. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days for Wish, we could see here we've had 2 inflow days and we had 3 outflow days. On the 9th, we had an outflow of 1,837.1. So what does all of this mean? What this means is, yes, we had some institutions who were selling out of their positions in regards to Wish, but we also had some institutions who were buying in. It's just that the outflow was a lot bigger than the overall inflow. So what we want to look forward to going into the week, so being Monday to be exact, and as the days progress, we want to see Wish kind of turn things around and make that move to the upside, and we want to see it get to that $12 range. If it does decide to pull back, well, you know what, before I even go any further into all of that, let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll cover all that info. So for my final thoughts for Wish stock, there's definitely a lot to look forward to going into next week. When I went on Fintel to take a look at the overall short interest, it was around 13%. This is a big time improvement when we saw that the short interest was well into the 30s. So what does this mean? As far as for the overall market sentiment, it's a lot more positive. And considering the range of where it's trading in right now, that is actually really good. We saw that it did pull back like many other small cap growth stocks, going to around $10.26. And I feel if you're going long term, this is a great area to be adding to your position or looking to average down. Another thing we also do understand, when we took a look at the order flow, we saw institutions who were buying and we also saw that were selling. So I'm saying, you know what, a lot of institutions were taking advantage of that dip, especially when it was inside of the $10 range. And I feel as retail investors, we got to start doing exactly the same thing. There's no point buying in on highs. You want to make sure you have a strategy. Another thing to go over, this is a company that has a lot of growth potential, like we covered in those key stats. But one thing we do need to understand, we want to see improvements. We want to see them growing their revenues and also keeping those costs controlled. We've also seen in the past their costs were high and they were able to make improvements on that. So we want to see this trend actually continue. Yes, they had the opportunity to benefit from the pandemic in 2020. So this is part of the reasons why there's going to be even even more eyeballs on them right now. But it also doesn't surprise me even when we take a look at tip ranks and take a look at the analyst price targets being at around $16.80. And considering where the price of the stock is right now, there is upside. So if you are in this play, I just want to make sure you're doing even more homework and even more due diligence to make sure you have high conviction inside of your play. And for anyone that wants to play off short term and so forth, just know the risks that are involved, know those areas of support that we talked about, and you should have a game plan. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.